On the night of October 14th, they came without warning. No message, no diplomacy, no demand for surrender. Just silence and then light. Thousands of ships, each one the size of a mountain, descending through the clouds in perfect silence. Every government on Earth went dark within minutes. Every satellite dead. Every screen on the planet showed the same thing, a symbol, alien, ancient, and completely incomprehensible. Humanity had 72 hours. Nobody knew what would happen when the clock hit zero. But what humans did in those 72 hours no one saw coming, not the aliens, not the scientists, not even us. This is the story of how humanity stood at the edge of extinction and refused to fall. The fall. The first strike wasn't a weapon, it was a demonstration. A single beam fired from the lead ship hovering over New York vaporized a 40-mile stretch of the Atlantic Ocean in 11 seconds. Just steam, gone, as if the ocean never existed. It was a message we can, and everyone on Earth understood it. Within 6 hours, every military alliance had scrambled jets, launched missiles, and run every defensive protocol ever designed. The result? Nothing. Every warhead detonated before it left the atmosphere. Every jet froze midair and floated harmlessly to the ground. The aliens weren't even defending themselves. They were waiting. Governments collapsed overnight, not from bombs, from fear. Presidents vanished into bunkers. Leaders gave tearful farewell addresses. Social order cracked in real time. Food lines stretched for miles. Hospitals overflowed with panic attacks and injuries from stampedes. Riots broke out in 17 cities in a single night. The most powerful institutions humanity had ever built crumbled in less than 24 hours. But here is what the aliens did not account for. They didn't account for ordinary people. Because while the powerful disappeared, the rest of humanity did something that would change everything. They showed up for each other. The gathering. Across the world, in the complete absence of leadership, something ancient activated inside human beings. Community. In Lagos, a 24-year-old software engineer named Amara Osai built a global mesh communication network using repurposed satellite dishes and second-hand radio parts. No funding, no government approval, no team, just her, a borrowed rooftop, and 36 hours of no sleep. She connected 140 million people after the internet went dark. In Tokyo, a physicist named Dr. Yuki Tanaka had spent years studying what she called resonant frequency anomalies. Nobody in her field took her seriously. Her papers were ignored. Her funding was cut 3 times. But now, working from her apartment with a borrowed server rack, she noticed something about the alien ships that everyone else had missed. They hummed. Not randomly, rhythmically, like a heartbeat, like something alive. In a refugee camp outside Warsaw, a former NATO cryptographer named Alexei Volkov hadn't slept in 3 days. He sat with a cracked notebook, staring at the alien symbol that played on loop on every screen on Earth. He had filled 200 pages with calculations. On page 201, he cracked it. And what he found stopped his heart. It wasn't a threat, it wasn't a countdown to destruction. It was a question. The symbol, decoded through a universal mathematical language so precise a child could eventually understand it, carried one single repeated message. Are you worth saving? This was the alien protocol, a civilization billions of years old moving through the galaxy, testing every species they encountered. The test wasn't about weapons or technology or intelligence. It was simpler and harder than any of that. Could this species act as one? Every civilization before humanity had failed. They either shattered into chaos or unified under a warlord and were marked as a threat to be eliminated. No species had ever found a third path. No species had ever shown them something different. Until now. The impossible. Amara's network carried Alexei's discovery to every corner of the world in minutes. And then the most extraordinary thing in human history began. Not organized by a government, not ordered by a military, not funded by a corporation. Just people, 8 billion ordinary, flawed, frightened people deciding in real time to try. Dr. Tanaka's data on the ship's harmonic frequency spread instantly. Within hours, engineers in Sao Paulo, Nairobi, and Bangalore had reverse-engineered a transmitter capable of broadcasting on that exact frequency. They built it from cell towers, car engines, hospital generators, and copper wire stripped from buildings. A deaf composer in Vienna translated the alien hum into music and posted it online. 200 million people listened within an hour, learning its rhythm without being taught. Children in rural Kenya drew the alien symbol in the dirt so their grandparents could understand what was happening and join in. Fishermen in Indonesia, monks in Tibet, factory workers in China, nurses in Brazil, all doing their small, impossible part. At hour 71, 1 hour before the deadline, the transmitter went live. And humanity broadcast back. Not a weapon, not a white flag. A response, in the aliens' own mathematical language, carrying one message that 8 billion people had somehow, without a single meeting, without a single vote, agreed on together. We are fractured, we are flawed, we are afraid, but we are here together, and that is our answer. The ships went dark. For 14 minutes, nothing moved anywhere on Earth. People stood in streets, held strangers' hands, looked up. And then the ships left. Every single one, gone, no explosion, no farewell, no explanation. Just gone. What it meant. In the weeks that followed, scientists theorized that the aliens were a civilization so ancient they had watched galaxies form. They returned to worlds they had seeded not to conquer but to evaluate. Species that passed the test were left untouched, recognized as something worth existing alongside. We never heard from them again. But something had permanently shifted on Earth. Not perfectly, not completely. People still argue, still divide, still choose fear sometimes when they should choose courage. We didn't become saints overnight. But for 72 hours, the species that wars over borders and burns forests and can't agree on anything proved that when it truly mattered, we could become something different. Not because we are perfect. Because we are human, and humans at their best reach for each other in the dark.